I still remember that night like it's carved into my bones. I was dragging my feet down the empty road when I muttered, "Another 12-hour shift for nothing." My voice sounded thin in the cold air. I was about to cross the street when I heard soft crying ahead of me. "Hey, are you okay?" I called out. The girl didn't answer. She just stood in the middle of the road, shaking. I stepped closer and said, "You shouldn't be there. Cars fly down this street." She lifted her head, tears running down her face. "I don't care," she whispered. "What do you mean you don't care?" I asked, picking up my pace. "Come on, let's move." She shook her head. "Please, just leave me alone." Before I could reply, I heard the roar of an engine. I spun around and yelled, "Hey, there's a car coming, move." She didn't move. I didn't think. I just ran. My hands grabbed her shoulders and I shouted, "Hold on!" as I dragged her back. The car rushed past us, horn blaring, wind hitting my face like a slap. We fell onto the pavement. She gasped and looked at me like I had dragged her back from death itself. "Why did you save me?" she whispered. "Because you were about to die," I said, breathless. And I couldn't watch that. She wiped her face. "I'm Emma," Ethan, I replied. "You should get somewhere safe. Someone has to worry about you." She shook her head again, voice trembling. "No one worries about me." Before I could answer, a furious shout echoed. "Emma, what the hell are you doing?" A tall guy came running toward us. His eyes weren't on her, they were on me. "Did you touch her?" He barked. "She was in the road," I said. "A car was—" "Don't lie to me," he snapped. "I saw you grabbing her." Emma tried to step forward. "Lucas," he saved quiet. He snapped at her. Then he pointed at me. "Stay away from my girlfriend." Stared at him. "I don't want anything from her. I just didn't want her getting hit," scoffed. "People like you always want something." Emma tugged his sleeve. "Please, let's go home." "We're leaving." He shot me a glare sharp enough to cut. "And if I hear your name again, you'll regret it." I watched them walk away, her head bowed, his grip too tight. My chest felt heavy, but I told myself, it's fine. I did the right thing. The next morning, Mark cornered me at work and said, "Bro, people are saying you tried something with Lucas's girl. Tell me it's not true." "It's not," I said. "I saved her." Mark exhaled, unsure. "Man, Lucas's family is powerful. Be careful." I laughed bitterly. "Yeah, sure." But by the end of that week, I had lost friends, my job, and even my place to live. All because I pulled a crying girl out of a road. Looking back, I whispered to myself, if I had known what saving her would cost me, I would have walked away. Asterisk, the morning after everything happened, Mark pulled me aside at work and whispered, "Ethan, we have a problem." I frowned. "What now?" He scratched the back of his neck. "Lucas came in earlier. Said you pushed Emma into the road and then pretended to save her." I stared at him. "You know, that's a lie." "I know," he said, but his eyes didn't match his voice. "But his dad funds half the company. Mr. Jennings is freaking out." I marched straight to the manager's office. "Mr. Jennings, I need to explain." He didn't even look at me. "There's nothing to explain." "I saved her," I said. "Ask Emma. Ask anyone who was there." He slammed a folder shut. "Lucas Reed says otherwise." "And honestly, Ethan, do you think people like him make things up?" "Yes," I said. "I think he does it all the time." He stood. "Clean out your locker." "You're done here, that's it?" I asked. "No questions? No truth?" "I don't have time for this," he replied. I walked out numb. Mark followed me. "Man, I'm sorry. Are you?" I asked. He winced. "Look, I can't get involved. I need this job, so you're letting them ruin me." He didn't answer. By afternoon, rumors were everywhere. People whispered. He grabbed her, and she looked terrified, even though none of them were there. I tried texting Emma. "Can we talk?" "Please." No answer. I called her. Straight to voicemail. When I got home that night, my landlord met me at the door with my bag already packed. "I can't have trouble here, Ethan." "I didn't do anything," I said. He sighed like he pitied me. People talk. I don't want police or drama. Give me a week, I begged. Just 1 week.
I know,
He said, shutting the door in my face. I stood there on the street, gripping my bag like it held the last piece of who I was. Mark didn't answer my calls. My coworkers blocked me. And Emma, the girl I saved, stayed silent. I ended up wandering the city until the streetlights blurred. I sat behind a closed bakery, cold wind hitting my face. I pulled out my wallet, the leather worn and cracking. Inside was the small photo of my mother, the last one we took before she died. I whispered, Mom, I don't know what to do. Her smile in the picture somehow made my chest hurt even worse. I remembered her voice in my head saying, Ethan, you always try to save people. It's your strength. It's not anymore, I muttered. My phone buzzed. For a moment, I prayed it was Emma. It was a message from an unknown number. Stay away from her. You've been warned. I exhaled, trembling. Of course, I said to the dark. Of course it gets worse. I curled up against the wall as the night grew colder. No job, no home. No one on my side. Just a picture and the sound of cars rushing by. I closed my eyes and whispered, I don't know why I'm still fighting. Asterisk, I never thought the cold could hurt more than my own thoughts, but that night it did. My breath came out in shaky clouds as I whispered, this is it. Ethan, no more lies. No more running. The bridge lights flickered above me, while the river below moved like a whisper calling my name. I stepped forward and muttered, maybe disappearing will finally make the world quiet. My voice cracked. Maybe they'll forget me faster than I forgot myself. My fingers curled around the railing. The metal felt like ice. I closed my eyes and said, Mom, I'm tired. The wind pushed against my back like it agreed. Then I heard it, a soft voice, familiar, close. I'm sorry, Ethan. I didn't know. My eyes snapped open. Who's there? I whispered, but the world dissolved before I could turn around. Everything went white, so bright it burned. I tried to breathe, but the air was heavy. Warm, wrong. The bridge vanished. The cold vanished. Even the pain in my ribs faded. I blinked, once, twice, and the white softened into colors. A ceiling, not sky. A room. A bed. I shot upright. Where am I? The blanket slid off me, and I stared at my hands. My skin was smoother, my arms thinner. I looked younger, too young. My heart raced. This can't be real. I grabbed my phone off the nightstand. The date on the screen nearly made me drop it 2 years earlier. No, I whispered. This has to be a dream. A breakdown. Something. My chest tightened. I stood and paced the room. I died, I said. I know I died. I stepped off that bridge. The door creaked. I froze. Emma stood there, eyes red, tears already falling. But this time, she didn't look confused or lost. She looked like someone who had seen the end of the world and was begging for another chance. Ethan, she whispered. I swallowed hard. Emma, what's going on? How am I here? Why are you? She rushed forward and grabbed my arms. I won't let you die again. Again? My voice cracked. Emma, what are you talking about? She shook her head. I saw everything. I saw what Lucas did. I saw how you suffered. I saw you on that bridge. Her fingers tightened around me. I couldn't save you then, but I'm here now. My mind spun. You're not making sense. She looked straight into my eyes. Time reversed. I don't know how. I just know I begged for it. And I'm not losing you. I felt the weight of her words settle deep inside me, fear, desperation, truth. All mixed together, I whispered, Emma. What did you do? She held my face in her hands and said, voice shaking, I won't let you die. Her voice broke, and I felt something inside me shift, something I thought was long dead. I didn't understand any of this, but for the first time in years, I wasn't completely alone. Emma sat beside me on the bed, wiping her eyes as if she was scared I'd disappear again. I tried to steady my breathing. "Start talking," I said. "No riddles. No vague lines. Tell me what's going on." She looked down at her shaking hands. "Ethan, I died." My stomach dropped. "What? In the old timeline?" she whispered. "Lucas killed me." I stared at her, waiting for the punchline, the laugh, the moment she said she was joking. But her voice didn't shake from confusion, only memory. "How?" I asked. She swallowed hard. "Because of you." It hit me like a slap. "What do you mean because of me? What did I do?" "You saved me," she said softly. "And when everything fell apart for you, I tried to tell the truth. I tried to defend you, Lucas. He didn't like that." I shook my head. "Emma, this is insane. Lucas is an idiot, but murder." "Come on." She looked up, eyes trembling. "He locked me in his apartment. He hit me. And the last thing I saw before everything went dark was your face on my phone. I was trying to warn you." I rubbed my temples. "This is too much. You expect me to believe you traveled back in time because you died?" "Yes." Her voice cracked. I begged for a chance to fix what I ruined. I stood and started pacing. "You didn't ruin anything. I didn't even know you. I saved someone I didn't know. That's exactly why," she said. "You saved me without asking for anything. And your life burned down because of it." I stopped moving. "Emma, listen. Trauma can mess with memory. Maybe you dreamed all this. Maybe your mind." She cut me off. 3 p.m. today, Mr. Jennings will call you into his office, yell about slacking, and threaten to cut your hours. Mark will stand behind him and pretend he doesn't know why it's happening." My heart skipped. "How'd you know that?" she continued. "Tonight, Lucas will see us talking outside the store. He'll pull you aside and say, 'Stay away from her, or I'll make you disappear.'" I felt a cold shiver crawl up my spine. She wasn't done. "And next week, Mark will tell you he needs some space because your name is getting messy. He'll say, 'I can't risk my job for your drama.'" Every word sliced deeper. "Stop," I said. "Just stop." "It's all real," she whispered. I sat back down, overwhelmed. "Even if it is real, why me? I come back to save me." She moved closer. "Because you saved me first. And because I saw what you became after everything fell apart. You tried so hard to stay strong until you had nothing left." I forced a weak laugh. "I saved you once. You don't owe me anything." She grabbed my hand, voice trembling. "Ethan, you didn't just save me. You changed me." Her words lingered in the air, heavy enough to shift the direction of both our lives. I didn't expect her to stay. After everything she claimed to know, after every impossible truth she threw at me, I thought Emma would give me space. But she stayed close, like she was afraid I'd disappear if she blinked. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at my hands. They were younger, stronger, unscarred. It felt like looking at a stranger wearing my skin. Emma sat across from me, knees pulled up, eyes red and swollen, as if she'd cried for hours before I woke. "Ethan, there's more you need to know," she whispered. I let out a slow breath. "There's always more, isn't there?" She flinched but didn't look away. "Lucas controlled me. Not just with money, he used fear. Lies. He made me depend on him. Every time I tried to speak to someone else, he'd twist it, saying I was ungrateful or embarrassing him." My jaw tightened. Even after everything, part of me didn't want to hear any of this. The timeline wasn't even broken yet. Lucas hadn't hurt me. Mark hadn't betrayed me. None of it happened yet. But the weight in Emma's voice made the air feel heavy. "I didn't know how bad it was," she continued. "Not until the end of the old timeline, when Lucas started coming after you. He didn't want me defending you. He didn't want me choosing you." I shook my head. "Emma, we weren't even close back then. Why would he think because he saw something I didn't understand until it was too late?" she said softly. "When he knew I trusted you. He knew you weren't like him, and he hated it." I looked away. The memories from the old timeline, my life falling apart, lie after life, felt like ghosts pressing in on me. She wiped her cheeks. "There's something else. Mark, he wasn't your friend, Ethan. He never was." I froze. "That's not true." Mark, he sold you out, she said, voice breaking. Twice, first to Lucas, then to his boss. He used every chance he had to protect himself, even if it meant destroying you. A deep ache formed in my chest. I remembered Mark laughing with me, sharing lunch, asking about my mother. Remembered trusting him. Stop, I whispered. Just stop. Emma slid off the bed and knelt in front of me. Her hands trembled as she reached out, but didn't touch me. I remember every moment of your downfall, Ethan. Every lie. Every betrayal. Every time you begged someone to believe you. My throat tightened. I watched you die, she said, and her voice cracked completely. Watched you fall off that bridge in the first timeline, and I couldn't do anything. I couldn't save you. Something inside me shifted slow, heavy, painful. It wasn't love. It wasn't forgiveness. It was the crushing realization that she wasn't just telling me a story. She was carrying trauma I couldn't even imagine. Emma, I whispered. She finally looked up, tears rolling down her cheeks. I'm not going to let it happen again. I don't care what you think of me right now. I'm staying. I'm fighting. I'm protecting you this time. For the first time since waking up in this new past, I felt the future pulling at me, dark, unknown, and terrifying. But I didn't feel alone. Asterisk. For the first time in my life, my real life, or whatever this new timeline counted as, I didn't feel like prey. I woke up with a fire in my chest, something I hadn't felt in years, the will to fight. Maybe it was Emma's confession. Maybe it was the second chance I never deserved. Or maybe it was the memory of my own body falling from that bridge. Whatever it was, it pushed me forward. Emma walked beside me as I made my way to work. She didn't say much, but her presence was steady, like she was holding the timeline together with her bare hands. You don't have to do everything today, she murmured as we stopped outside the building. I know, I said. But today, I start. Inside, the office was exactly as I remembered. It cold lights, its fake smiles, and Mark leaning over a desk like he owned the place. My stomach twisted. In the old timeline, this was the day he lied about me stealing supplies. But this time I was ready. I walked straight to Mr. Peterson, the only supervisor who'd ever treated me like a human being. Sir, I need to report something, I said. He raised an eyebrow. What's going on, Ethan? Mark has been taking company electronics home. They're in his locker. If you open it now, you'll find 2 tablets he planned to blame on me. Peterson stiffened. That's a serious accusation. I know, I said quietly, but it's the truth. He studied my face for a long moment, then nodded. Come with me. 5 minutes later, Mark was stuttering excuses as Peterson pulled out the stolen tablets. The look on his face, shock. Turning into panic, felt like justice brushing my skin for the first time. You set me up, Mark whispered when Peterson walked away. How did you even know? I leaned in. Let's just call it seeing the future. He paled. I didn't wait around. I had another enemy to face. Lucas found me outside near the parking lot, leaning against his expensive car like he was posing for a magazine. When he saw Emma behind me, his jaw tightened. Where were you last night? He demanded. I called you 6 times. Emma didn't answer. She didn't flinch. She just looked at me. Lucas stepped closer, his smile sharp and poisonous. What did you tell her, Ethan? What lies did you feed her this time? I almost laughed. I knew every word he was about to say. Every manipulation, every twist. You're going to say you're only worried about her, I said calmly. Then you'll claim I'm trying to drag her away. Then you'll pretend you're the victim. I've heard this speech before. He froze eyes wide for just a second. Emma's hand brushed mine. A small gesture, but strong enough to send a message. Lucas realized something was slipping out of his control. I'm not the same person you pushed around last time, I said. And Emma isn't the girl who believed you. His expression hardened. For the first time, I saw something feral in his eyes. A predator caught off guard. You think you can fight me? He murmured. You think you can rewrite what's meant to happen? I held his stare. Watch me. He leaned in closer, voice dropping to a venomous whisper. Should have stayed dead. My blood turned cold, but I didn't back down. Not this time. Emma kept pacing my room like the floor might break open beneath her feet. Ethan, listen to me. Lucas isn't just angry, he's unstable. He remembers pieces. Not everything, but enough to know something's wrong. I can handle him, I said. No, you can't, she snapped. You think guilt makes you strong, but it only makes you bleed faster. I rubbed my face. I don't want you risking yourself again. Emma kept telling me she was fine, but the fear in her eyes said otherwise. For 2 days after the alley incident, she barely slept. Every shadow made her flinch. Every sound made her look over her shoulder. Lucas won't stop, she whispered as we stood outside her building. You don't understand what he becomes when he loses control. I'm not letting him near you, I said. You shouldn't be the one protecting me, she argued. I'm the reason he's after you. No, I said firmly. He made his own choices. Before she could answer, a voice sliced through the night. Emma, he turned. Lucas stepped out from behind a parked car, face twisted, eyes feverish. He looked worse than the last time, like he'd been living on rage alone. I grabbed Emma's wrist and pulled her behind me. Stay back, Lucas. He ignored me and reached for her. You're coming with me? Right now. No, she said, voice shaking but clear. I'm done letting you control me. His expression snapped. You think he can protect you? He ruined everything once, and now you're choosing him. I stepped forward. She's not choosing me. She's choosing herself. Lucas lunged. I blocked him, shoving him away, but his strength was fueled by madness. He slammed me against the side of a car. Pain burst through my ribs. Move, he snarled. She should have been mine. She was never yours, I hissed. He raised his arm to strike me, fist clenched. Eyes full of the same rage that took her life in the old timeline, and then it happened. Emma screamed my name and threw herself between us. His hit landed on her instead. I watched her fall, the sound echoing through my skull. My vision tunneled. My chest collapsed inward. The world that had been stitched back together in this second chance began cracking along the seams. Emma. I dropped to my knees beside her. Emma, look at me. She gasped, gripping my shirt. I told you. You can't die for me again. Rage ignited. Pure, violent, blinding. I turned on Lucas. You hurt her again? I growled. You didn't learn. He backed away, startled by whatever he saw in my eyes. I didn't care. I lunged at him, tackling him to the ground. His head hit the pavement. I pinned him down, fists shaking. Touch her again, said, voice breaking, and I swear sirens cut through the night. Someone had called the police. Officers rushed toward us, pulling me off him. Lucas fought, screaming her name, screaming mine, screaming about control and fate and lies, but they finally dragged him away, handcuffed, furious. Defeated, I crawled back to Emma as paramedics lifted her onto a stretcher. She reached for my hand, her fingers cold. Ethan, listen, I said. Save your strength. She smiled weakly. I didn't come back to live. I came back so you would. My throat closed. Don't say that. Don't. A tear slid down her cheek. Live, Ethan. Please. I broke right there, in front of everyone. Because this time, she saved me. She stopped. You're not dying for me. Not in this timeline. I didn't answer, because the truth was ugly. Part of me still believed I deserved what happened before. If I hadn't saved her, maybe none of this would have spiraled. Maybe my life wouldn't have collapsed like a house built on lies. Asterisk, I didn't leave her side for 2 days. Not to eat. Not to sleep. Not even when doctors told me she was stable. I sat in that cold hospital room, holding her hand, waiting for her eyes to open, terrified the universe would steal her again before. I got the chance to hear her voice. On the third morning, her fingers twitched. Ethan. My breath broke. I'm here. I'm right here. She blinked slowly, tears gathering. You're safe. You saved me, I whispered. Again. Before she could answer, a nurse stepped in. Good timing. She's awake, and you really need rest. I'm fine, I muttered. Emma squeezed my hand weakly. Listen to her, please. Shook my head. Not until I know you're okay? She swallowed hard. Is Lucas arrested? I said. He won't hurt you again. Or me. She closed her eyes in relief, but when she opened them again, there was something else fear. Ethan. I don't think the timeline is stable anymore. My stomach dropped. What does that mean? She looked at her intertwined hands. I wasn't supposed to change things this much. Saving your life. Changing the outcome. I think time is trying to correct itself. You're not disappearing, I said. She gave a sad smile. I don't get to choose that. I do, I said firmly. I'm choosing to fight for you now. Before she could answer, the door creaked open. Mark stood there, eyes red, guilt eating him alive. Ethan, he said softly, I'm sorry. For all of it. I let Lucas use me. I let jealousy turn me into someone I hate. I stared at him. Part of me wanted to stay angry. Another part remembered I wasn't the same man who died on that bridge. Make it right, I said. Not for me, for yourself. Mark nodded slowly. I will. He left without asking for forgiveness again. Maybe that was the first decent choice he'd made. When the door closed, Emma tugged at my sleeve. You're changing too. Because you fought for me when no one else did. She looked at me with those soft, tired eyes. Ethan, if I vanish, I want you to live. Really live. Not survive. Not hide, live. I sat on the edge of her bed, leaning close enough to feel her breath. Even if time steals you again, I said quietly, I'll carry the version of you that fought for me. Her eyes filled. You always say things like that when I'm too weak to kiss you. I laughed softly, brushing a strand of hair from her face. Then get stronger. I'm not going anywhere. Hours later, when she finally fell asleep, I stepped outside the hospital. The world smelled like rain and sunrise, fresh, bright, alive. A future I never thought I'd see again. I closed my eyes, breathed in the dawn, and whispered the truth that burned in my chest. This time she saved me, and I won't waste the life she gave back. And Lucas didn't let anything go. People whispered when I walked past them at work. Someone shoved a note in my locker that said thief. Mr. Peterson warned me that rumors were spreading again. Then one night I spotted Lucas's black car parked across the street from Emma's apartment. Stay inside, I told her. She grabbed my wrist. You're walking straight into a trap. Maybe it's time I stop running. Her voice trembled. Ethan, please, I walked out before she could finish. For 3 days, Lucas baited me. Anonymous calls. Footsteps behind me. A shadow outside my workplace door. The past was trying to swallow me again. I could feel the noose tightening. It finally snapped the night I took out the trash behind the building. I heard a slow clap, so predictable. Lucas said. Stepping out of the darkness, I tensed. You want something? Yeah, he said. Your silence, your distance, and your disappearance. He moved closer, eyes wild. You ruined everything once. You won't get the chance again. I didn't ruin anything, I said. You did. He swung. A sharp punch aimed at my jaw. I blocked it barely. Pain shot up my arm. He swung again harder. Years of anger in every hit. Fight back, he growled. Come on, isn't that what you're doing now? Fixing your pathetic little life? I'm not fighting you, I said through gritted teeth. You're not worth it. Oh, I am, he hissed, pulling something from his pocket. A box cutter. The blade glinted under the dim alley light. My heart slammed against my ribs. He lunged. I stumbled backward, knocking over a trash bin. The blade scraped my shoulder, burning fire across my skin. Lucas pinned me against the wall. You think Emma will save you again? He whispered. She'll watch you die a second time. I felt the panic rising, the suffocating instinct to beg to fold. To disappear like the first timeline taught me, then anger lit in my chest a sharp. Blinding flame. Not this time, I growled. Shoving him off with everything I had. He staggered, but before he could charge again, stop, we both turned. Mark stood at the entrance of the alley, breathing hard, eyes wide at the sight of the blade. Mark, I whispered. Lucas laughed. Here to watch your buddy bleed again. Mark stepped forward. For once, he didn't hide behind excuses or fear. Lucas, put that down. You've lost it, Lucas scoffed. You think I care what you? I saw you, Mark said. Following him, stalking Emma, planning this. I'm done covering for you. I'm done protecting monsters. Lucas's expression twisted into something feral. Traitor. He rushed at Mark. I grabbed Lucas's arm, yanking him back. The blade clattered to the ground. Mark shoved him hard, sending him stumbling into the wall. Lucas froze, breathing fast, eyes darting between us. For the first time, he looked unsure, like the warped world he controlled was slipping. You both think you've won? He spat. This isn't over. Ran into the night, leaving silence behind him. Mark slowly turned to me. Ethan, I'm sorry. I should have been there before. I should have believed you. I stared at him, met the guilt, the fear, the sincerity. Then be here now, I said. He nodded, voice breaking. I will. For the first time, the past didn't own me, but the future that was still waiting to strike.